Okay, so we are live officially. Um, so what I've done so far, I'm basically in the planning stage. We received this image from one of our potential customers that um, she wants some photos retouched from a wedding that she had back home. So these blue marks, the whole point of this is that you're trying to plan the execution of the edit itself. So you see these blue marks right here. This is what we would initially um, try to fix up with our clone brush and our healing brush, right? And you see the difference in color between this and then this spot right here. This is a lot darker, whereas this is a lot lighter. And when I take it off, you can see the difference. Right? Okay. So we're not going to edit this image, but this is sort of just a preview of what I would do if I was going to edit this particular image. This one is not in raw format, so we can't really do what we want to do during this live broadcast. But we will. We will grab a raw image right now. Okay. And here is the raw image that we're going to be working on. So I always prefer that the photographer shoots underexposed, because what happens is when the image is overexposed, you're actually losing data in the image. So, and you can't go back from overexposed images into a preferable lighter tone to the lighter exposure. See, so that's the original image right there. Okay. And this is in raw format. We're using Capture One to work with the raw image. So the thing that I like to do is, at the very least, we want to get the proper exposure. So we'll start with this exposure for now. We can always adjust it in Photoshop. And you see here, she's got a little bit of red or pink to her skin, and then she has just yellowish white. So what we want to do is we want to even out the skin tones here. So preferable tone to her skin, let's say, what looks good. We're just going to color pick it. Let's see. So that took some of that red away slightly. If you see it right here. And took away some of its greens as well. Evened out the skin color. Okay, so we can, you see the green tones? Once I turn this off, there's a green tinge to it. And now it's gone. Okay, so let's go into Photoshop. And this is where we start to plan exactly how we are going to execute this. And remember, this camera is a very high-end camera, so you're seeing details that you wouldn't normally see. It's nothing to be worried about. Just trying to find where these blemishes are, right? If you see big pores in the skin, struggle to get rid of these smile lines, but we definitely will fix them. And with something like this, you don't want to get rid of that because that's part of who she is, right? So it's a very distinct marker. Luckily, there aren't too many flyaways. So this is the almost done. See this. I'm going to try and get rid of some of these speckles, almost like sparkle. Okay, so this is our layer where we plan. Now it's time to work. Clean up these bumps here. Now you start to get to these lines on the forehead. We'll eventually see the before and after. let's just say for the forehead right here. See that? As I turn it on and off. And the whole point is, you know, we want to smoothen out the skin, but keep the texture, right? You'll see a lot of people use the beauty face feature on their Samsung, and all that is actually blurring out the textures, so it looks fake. And if you have a trained eye, you can spot it right away. So I've got Teresa right now. She's online, and she's probably taking your messages if you're messaging it on Instagram and on Facebook. See these pores right here? Just clean them out so that it's not so distinct in the image, that they're larger in that area. So, I mean, you guys can watch me do this all night, to be honest. So, what I will do is I'll sort of speed through this so that you guys can sort of understand the process from start to finish. But this is the before. See here. Here. That's before. That's after. so step 2, what I like to do from here after you've cleaned everything up, dodging and burning. Dodging and burning is basically like a makeup artist's way of contouring a face. This looks really nice in black and white, to be honest. But it's still got some things to fix. Set the flow to about 3 or 4. See what works best. And the whole idea with dodging and burning here, we want to even out, you see this area right here, these dark areas, we want to smoothen the transition from dark to light. So from here down to here, or from here, this edge here, down to here. Slightly darker patches. And this is where we're going to take care of these smile lines here. So you see we didn't get rid of them, but what it's doing is it's getting rid of the dark spots so that it's not as apparent. Transitions is probably where you will notice it a little bit better. And I make it black and white because it's a lot easier to concentrate on just a two-tone image as opposed to a full color image. It just gets too complicated and you sort of get distracted by all the color. So this is to simplify it for you. See these right here. That transition. So you may not be able to see what's happening on your end because it is a broadcast from my actual screen, so you may miss these details, but there is definitely something happening. And you're just gonna have to take my word for it here. But let's see. If I turn that off, you see that? You see the difference there? That's without taking away any of the actual markers, what you've done is you've cleaned out this. You cleaned up the skin from these dark patches. These dark patches can be very distracting when you look at it in an overall image. It's just about, see, it's still dark, it's just that you want to make it a seamless transition. Generally speaking, you don't want to make anything too harsh. It distracts the eye, right? The eye goes directly to that area. It's a nice little transition here. Right, and then the makeup artist would contour in this area, contour in that area. Make this a little bit smoother of a transition. It's good, it is soft, but see what we could do with it. Might be too much. So if it is too much, you can easily bring it back. Right there. What else do you contour? Obviously you contour that tip of the nose. It's really, you're reshaping her face. See this right here, I might liquefy this to bring the lips up slightly, but we can deal with that later. Cracks right here so they're not so deep. Okay, so face looks pretty good. I mean, you could literally spend hours on this kind of stuff, like several hours. So you have to sort of know when to call it quits. And if you are a photographer, that's very hard to do. Eyebrows are good. You see how they're fully shaped and nothing's actually sticking out. Right? These could be distracting, but you know, when you, yeah, we'll take a look at those in a bit. transitions. This right here. So let's soften these edges here. You know, skin on the arms can get pretty blotchy, so this could take a while. It all depends on what kind of photography this is. I mean, this is, in this particular one, is just lifestyle photography, so you're not going to look for that perfect magazine beauty look. It's not what we're going after. Although we can achieve it, it's not worth the effort. So here's the before, here's the after. Before, after. You see that difference, right? And I didn't do anything other than contouring. Technically, it's just contouring. I'm just adding light in certain areas. You can also add shadows. Obviously, you can see that the makeup artist, you know, they understand the process, right? A little bit of and then darken it on the sides and where the neck would meet. I always go over the eyebrows with a dark tone just to bring them out slightly. So you can see what I'm doing. You don't want to be too fake with it. Right? So if that's too much, you just bring it back a little bit. There we go. That's just really clean skin, and you know that the texture is still there. Alright, so we finished the skin. Now on to the basically the color grading process. And what I like to do is I like to use color balance. Try and figure out exactly. So she's got like a reddish tone here, and I always like to, at least in the shadows, make it cool. A cooler tone to it. You see the background, because it's in a darker area, and then some of her skin now has some cyan in it. So whatever's in the shadows becomes cool, which is cold, and then whatever is not in the shadows, so like the mid-tones, let's say, you can bring back that sort of red, yellow, but you see this yellow is sort of making it look green, right? Although it doesn't look bad. But let's turn this on, like this, off, on, off, right? We can get pretty creative with this. Soft light. Let's see what we can do. Now this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, it's just that if we don't try it, we'll never know. So that tone, no, that doesn't look good. So you take that down. Let's see. Alright, so forget that. This is a good tone. Okay. Now we can start playing with the contrast, the lighting. So you can see the light's coming in from here, right? So what we want to do is we want to sort of accentuate that. And in this image, what matters is actually her face. So undo that. So here's what we got so far. This is the original, and that's the edited version. And remember, you can always, she's got, I think, greenish, brownish eyes here, so you can always accentuate those. Same method using the dodge and burn. Back to layers. Bring those out a little bit, right? And bring up those highlights here. Okay, now let's turn that off. Zoom out just a little bit. You see how those eyes are sort of piercing now, right? Look at that. Didn't take much. The whole point here is you don't want it to look fake. That's what we have to try and avoid, right? I see a lot of edited images and they definitely look fake, so. Now with this, you can always bring down the opacity. This is the fully lit one, and then find the happy medium there. Yeah, I think that's good. And this is that initial planning that we did. Remember that, right? Okay, now having done all of that, let's sharpen the image. So, generally speaking, when I sharpen, I want to make sure that I'm sharpening the right areas, not everything, just the right areas. So, just pull back a bit there. Let's see. So I'm not noticing the difference here. Let's try that again. Retouch panel, sharpen image. Okay, now you see the difference here. Look at that. Okay, so like I said, we don't want everything to be sharp. So we invert that. And we start to paint the areas that matter when it comes to being sharp. It's always the eyes, because that's what people are drawn to automatically. And I like to add a sharpness to edges that sort of highlight the structure of the face, right? So you can see the difference in the eyes here. Watch. How they're soft here, and now they stand out. It's just little details. You may not notice it, but it makes a world of a difference when you're working on this thing. Okay. Now, one final step that I've started to add to my process is let's save this right now. What I like to do, practice. Let's see, practice images. Where are we? This right here. So let's open this up in Capture One again. So get this opened up. I like to work with clarity here. of that. So you'll find that you're always going back and forth between programs. I mean, I am at least. Um, export. So here's that TIFF file again. Okay, so take that and overlay it. And apply a mask, invert. So right now, this is not visible. You see, I turn it on and off, it doesn't do anything. But let's get these certain areas back up. I just like the detail that it provides in the skin texture. So let's turn it off. See that? Okay. Let's turn it off. Maybe this is too much of a highlight here. It's sort of glaring at me. So let's burn. Let's get our flow back. Okay, so let's see, when I turn that off, let's see that. Let's see if it needs a little bit more. Remember, we have the ability to play with that opacity, right? That's nice. Okay, so then when you export, look at that, we're basically almost done at the 1 hour mark. Export 80%. My numbers, because we're exporting for social media, you want to keep the file size fairly small. So let's go 960. Calculating, doing its thing. Desktop. Okay. Now let's see. Before and after. Oh. Before, after. Before, after. And that was about 1 hour. So now imagine what your photographer has to go through. for every single image to make you look really good. But that's part of the game, I guess, right? And now you know. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, just comment. Leave a comment on Facebook or through Instagram. Thank you.